Hi there, this is Talia the dietitian, and today I'm answering one of your questions. If you have topics that you'd like me to answer on YouTube or questions that you want me to go into and explore in more detail, you can send them to me by joining Talia's Table. I have a forum. This is a membership website. There's a forum in there where you can send me your questions and topics, and I will answer them on here. So the question today is, have you ever addressed the issue of ketchup, barbecue sauce, etc.? I love it as a bridge to new foods, but my daughter ends up eating tons of ketchup. So in this video, I wanted to talk about two things. One of them is a little bit about reading the label, about what kind of sauces and things that you bring home to help alleviate your stress around how much of it they're eating. And the second thing I wanted to talk about is actually referring you to a video that I did recently about how to help your child dip foods in using a dip. So if your child is just like eating the sauce with a spoon, there's a guide that I created for you so that you can ensure your child is not just eating the dip by itself, and a guide on like walking you through how to handle the situation if that's what they're doing, because we do want them to dip. Okay, so I actually have some sauces here with me that I have in my home, and what I wanted us to have a look at, when you're at the supermarket, before you even bring a dip or a sauce home that you know your child's going to eat and quite possibly eat quite a lot of, I want you to have a look for two or three key things. When you're looking at the label, I want you to look for added sugars. I want you to look at the sodium, and I want you to look at also the number of ingredients. And while you're looking at the number of ingredients, look at what the first couple of ingredients are. If the first couple of ingredients are sugar, especially if it's the first ingredient, please don't buy it. So this barbecue sauce, the first ingredient is tomato puree. That's the reason that my husband and I buy it, because a lot of the other barbecue sauces have sugar or high fructose corn syrup as the first ingredient. You really want to select one that has the primary ingredient that's not sugar. So this one has tomato puree. The second ingredient in this is high fructose corn syrup, which is a sweetener, which I don't love, but I also am aware of how often I am providing this to my child and how often I'm allowing it as a dip. So you've kind of got to pick your poison here. You can't live your life without having barbecue sauce or sauces that you like, but you can pick one where the main ingredient is tomato puree, and that's ahead of the high fructose corn syrup. So next thing to look at, the number of ingredients on here. I haven't counted them, and it's not too long of a list, and there aren't things in there that I don't understand why they're not in there. If you're looking through a list and you're like questioning why is that in there, that doesn't make any sense, move on to a different one. And the easiest thing that you can do in terms of reducing sodium is when you're looking at potential sauces, find one that you like the ingredients and then look at it in comparison to a different brand that you are also considering buying, and pick the one that has the lowest sodium. Sometimes you have to compromise here, and personally, I would recommend going for one. If it's got a little bit more sodium, but the first ingredient is tomatoes and it has less sugar, I would go for that one, which is why we ended up with this barbecue sauce. Another one that I have here that my kids frequently use as a dip is a ranch dressing, and this is a yogurt ranch dressing is how it's marketed. So if I flip it over, I see that the first ingredient is buttermilk, and I like that, it's buttermilk, water, yogurt, and whereas a lot of other ones, it's oils and it's other things that you wonder why those are the first ingredient. So look for one where you understand why the first ingredient is there. And then again, look at the sugars. Some will have a lot to sweeten it, and most of them hopefully don't. And then do the same thing again. Find one where you like the ingredients, and then take a look at the sodium and just make sure that that's not outrageous compared to what other brands are offering. If you have a child that's under 1, it's not recommended. It's recommended to keep sodium as low as possible. The guideline, I believe, is 800 milligrams, and about 400 of that comes from breast or formula, naturally occurring. So you want to be really careful when you're giving sauces and dips to babies. It's probably worth skipping them as babies. Once they're over 12 months old, I would Personally, I worry less about sodium and I care more about how much sugar and added sugars are in there. And as long as they're not eating, you know, this barbecue sauce every day that has this high fructose corn syrup in it, and they're not eating a cup of it or half a cup of it, I really wouldn't worry too much about it. And then in terms of if they're only eating the dip, refer back to that other video of how to handle that situation. But really, I love that this mother said they're using it as a bridge to new foods, because it makes the new food more appealing. They can dip it, they can combine it with a taste and a movement and action like dipping that they're very comfortable with. So you've got to weigh up what's going on here. It's great that they're getting a new food exposure. It's great that they're trying, touching, and eating the new food. And if they're getting it with some barbecue sauce, don't let that stress you out. It's really all right. So I really hope those tips have helped you and help you feel a little less stressed and worried when it's your child who's eating a ton of ketchup. If you have more questions that you would like me to answer, please join Talia's table, help contribute to this content, and help support it as well. And you can do that at the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And this is Talia, the dietitian. Bye-bye. Every child deserves a healthy relationship with food, and I'm here to help you. Here are a couple more videos for you.